Hello, everybody. Due to circumstances, I wasn't able to update last week at all, or make new videos, I guess. That's my bad. I was freaking out because I thought I had 3 weeks left until basic, but it turns out that I had 4 weeks last week. So now I have 3 weeks, and I'm like, it could have been 2 weeks. So now I'm all chillaxed and able to do stuff. Our friend, Adventures with Jay, has given me permission to do story time with Bran. And I was going to do a Zelda fan fiction I wrote when I was 7 years old. But I couldn't find the first chapter. I have the second chapter, but not the first, which really disappoints me. And then I was going to do my Soul Reaver fanfiction that I wrote like when I was 9, but I can't find that either. I hate my life. So I'm going to read a story that I wrote. And it has a lot of weird words. I made up a bunch of stuff, man. And apparently there's like, how many chapters? Whoosh. I never finished it. 14 chapters. 14 chapters, man. And yeah. I hope it doesn't leave off on a cliffhanger of some sort. Okay. Chapter 1. There's no name. So, Cinna, Chapter 1. The last thing I heard was thunder as I ran beneath the tender night sky. It all went dark. My last few thoughts were that I was too young to die. Too young. My mind was racing round and round like a dog chasing its own tail. When I finally woke up, a young woman who looked very upset was lightly dabbing my head with a cloth. "Where am I? Where is Jimson? How did I get here?" I asked in a slightly confused voice. Slightly? Where are they? I thought. I tried to remember what happened as I dozed back into a fitful sleep. A few months ago, I was home in Visco Province, scrubbing my dear stepmother's kitchen floor again. All I could think about was the whipping I got the night before for making eyes at my lovely stepsister's crush. In no time, my mother came to check up on me. I actually started daydreaming and accidentally tripped over the bucket. Since Dad had died and left me with this witch, I was named the household slave. Anyway, she saw the mess and called the manservant in charge of me so he could add a couple more bruises. But before he arrived, I bolted. Then I heard this resounding thud. I was caught in some very strong arms. Very strong arms, guys. I looked up at my captor. It was a tall, very muscular man. Oh my gosh. I'm so uncomfortable at how at the age I was, that I wrote this. I mean, seriously. It got dark because there's clouds. Clouds in New Mexico. Anyway, I looked up at my captor. It was a tall, very muscular man. He looked like one of the servants, but none of them were dressed in such fine clothes. They were a dark linen material, soft to the touch but strong as iron. On his side hung a sword, enough to scare me, though that is difficult to do. In some ways he looked like my friend Jimson, with his dark hair and his bright blue eyes. But where could he ever get such fine clothes? Senna, we need to get you out of here. You are needed elsewhere now. What? What? Huh? Elsewhere? I was still dazed from the shock. Even though I still didn't understand what he said, I had the feeling that I was getting every word he was saying. Okay, where to? Well, I think it's supposed to be Tinda Province, he replied. We better go. I hear rickshaw coming. Rickshaw. That's a cool name. Then we raced through a corridor after corridor into stables. The one thing that is still mine is the dragon my dad gave me for my 9th birthday 5 years ago. So she's 14. And the only reason that they haven't taken her away yet is that she wouldn't let anyone else touch her. When we got there, I boarded Lita, and Jensen took another dragon that looked new, or different. While we were in the air, I saw the house disappear. Even though it was a place of torment the last 3 years, I would still miss the room I had with the blue drapes and the balcony over the river. The times Dad took my real mom and I to the river for picnics, when I would pick the sparkly blue Tilland flowers for my beautiful mom. Then I suddenly remembered the troubles Dad and I had when Mom died, and when he married that witch, and finally when he himself died. I then realized I was crying. I was relieved to go away from all the pain and sorrow. Cinna, are you all right, Cinna? I can feel the turmoil in your emotions. I heard Lita's soothing voice in my head. Oh, I'm okay. Just a bit tired. I lied, but was the only thing I could do to get her off my back. You know you cannot lie to me. Tell me what's wrong. Well, it's just that I'm leaving behind. What? The torture? Of course not, but the good like what? When your father died, you don't want to leave the death behind? If you'll let me finish, I'll tell you. Why did I even bother? Like the happy times. The time my father found your egg for me. Those kind of things. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot the way you humans attach to things. I know you loved your father, but he did have a bad taste in women. Wasn't it his fault that she seduced him? I know she has love potions. She is literally a witch. He would never leave me to someone like that, even if he was in love with her. That evil woman is what took his life, and sucked him dry of everything, money, title, and even his pride. If she... Cinna? Synesia! Everything went blurry, and I couldn't think straight. Then all went black. Cinna? Cinna, are you okay? Said a soft voice. A soft caress of my arm slowly made me stir. It was Jimson. Cinna, what happened up there? Are you okay? I don't know. It's all a blur. Didn't Lita tell you? I asked a bit deliriously. No, she seems to be a bit protective. She hardly let me take you off without a fight. She said something about being not as naive as you or something like that, he said with a bit of disgust in his voice. Well, I'll talk to her. You know you had to treat her with respect. She's a bit too prideful for a dragon of her status. Just give her time, she'll warm up to you, I replied, but he didn't seem too confident. Not too confident, but too confident. I used the wrong too. That's what I'm trying to say here. Oh, thank Valara and his son for keeping you safe. It was the greeting I got from Lita. Who? I had forgotten that she believed in Valara, the god that created the whole world. I didn't believe in him at the time. I believed in the whole Vantama circle of gods that control just about every last aspect of life. Weather, light, dark, death, life, and other things. Is there a space between that? It doesn't look like it. Okay, that's a very small space. Valara, the one true god. But I shouldn't expect you to remember anything after what's happening with you. Lita replied, sounding worried again. Oh yeah, speaking of that, what's happening with me? Feeling as well as seeing the fear in her was starting to freak me out. Well, Cinna, I don't know how to tell you this. By now, Jimson had joined us. Demetrius, your stepmother, put a spell on you that seems to keep you from going too far from her, she finally finished. What? How are we supposed to break it? Can it be broken? I almost yelled. Almost. I don't think we can without having her killed, Lita said in her divine wisdom suggested. Right. Right then I was almost about to kill her. Well, I guess we better take care of that, don't you? Put in Jimson. And how, may I ask, are we supposed to do that? I was pretty ticked at just about everything that happened in my life. I wish that I was never born. All the trouble my life was causing. What's your problem? I guess I hit one of Jimson's nerves. And I could just see the look in Lita's eyes that said, I told you so. And I was a little disappointed in him myself. I guess you wouldn't know now, would you? My heart felt like it was bleeding from a mortal wound. Come on, Lita. Let's just hope she won't kill me when we get back to her. No, wait, if you go back to her... He didn't finish. What will happen, huh? What will your boss do to you, And what do you want with me? I never have been good at keeping my terrible temper under control. I guess Lita's used to it because she didn't seem surprised. Well, I can't tell you, he said like he wished he could. Goodbye, Jimson, were my last words to him as Lita took off into the midnight sky. And that is chapter 1. Wow. That was really long. Dear goodness. Dear Valara. Anywho, I will update this maybe once in a while. I don't really know what I'm going to do for the 8.5 weeks I'm going to be gone. I'm worried leaving you guys to Anna since she doesn't update very much. She has a life unlike some people. I have a zipper pocket, see? Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this, and everybody